Oh, we are live?
We are now. Just happened live.
Oh, cool. Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight. We're going to do some like general conversation and news on the top of the hour here. And then we're going to get into something a little more creepier. That's called Something in the Corner. Now, for some channel news, I wanted to throw out there that I should have an old subscriber on the show before long. Probably within the next week or so. I mean, he asked me if he could come on today, and I already had something planned. So he'll have to swing back around, but I'm sure he'll do it soon. And he's got some stuff he wants to talk about. That also being said, I got a local individual here. Now they have actually just found out about Paranoid Times, but they are doing a channel on Spotify and other thing. They've been doing it for a while, and there seems to be a lot of interest in it. And they tell a bunch of creepy story stuff about the like local area. Um, we got a whole lot of superstition and ghost tales and UFO tales and stuff like that up in the area. I mean, this man's gone out to these churches and places, and he's taking it to heart out of curiosity. So that's one thing. But we can start with our normal bit here. Before we start on that other thing I was talking about, we'll get to that. I stumbled onto an article the other day and watched the video, and of course, it always starts with a video. Seems like anymore, but um, well, no, two things. This might actually, and this is a more adult thing. I guess this kind of goes into this too, but for some of you are gamers. There's few and far between, but some of us are out there. And I found out something I did not know today, and it shocked the hell out of me. That there's actually adult games on Steam. Um,
Really?
yes, there's a little thing you click on there, and it pops up. And some of them are so unhinged, it's insane. Now,
You've been playing with them?
I mean, I looked through them. Curiosity got the best of me, but I did go through them, man. I mean, it's not something I can put online. There's other
Well,
people,
yeah. You gotten the AI girlfriend yet?
oh no, I don't do the whole AI girlfriend stuff.
Oh,
I
come on, get the full experience.
you know,
You know,
there is a guy that I know, and he's got a YouTube channel, old British dude, and he had. Thank you. Hey, honey. Wait, hey, honey. Make more, please. I'm gonna need it. All right, there you go. Thank you. But sorry, yeah, but there's this British dude I know, and he does have a YouTube channel, and he is rather famous. Well, I mean, he goes to the ends to do things, but he has started doing this whole YouTube channel around AI. Um, and I had no intention of talking to you, so I'm not going. I'm talking about this, so I'm not going to say his name. But you can find it. I'm sure you can find it. The 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 thing is, he went and used a various number of AIs. He made himself an AI girlfriend that he talks to all the time, and then he's got these other AIs, and he takes them around and he gets them to talk about the things that are going on, and he interacts with them to see like if the AI tries to trick him and everything else. And it sure seems like well, you're messing with them. I mean, really messing with them. Um, One actually even talked him into putting him on a robot, and he did. But it's a wild storyline to watch. um,
you fell down that rabbit hole.
oh yeah, I started watching it. I started
You
going
broke
through
a
it.
leg or two.
But no, I actually seriously thought about taking and setting up some kind of like little system like that where I can, have them rattle on and talk and you know, I mean, it's kind of like having an AI co-host. If you think about it.
There's already an AI podcast.
Oh, I know, and there's of course AI music and all that good stuff like that. But I'm saying
These are
it's
making top of the charts though.
huh?
These are making top of the charts. The fucking AI country song. There's
Oh
an
yeah.
AI podcast where it's two AIs just sitting there talking back and forth to each other, hosting a podcast.
Well, one of the, I mean, well, our interest, our yeah, 420 man, our interest is um in robots, AI, and stuff like that. I mean, it's hardcore if you really think about it. You know, people can bitch about data centers all they want to and AI, but man, they got that thing fisted way up in there, and they're playing with it. I
Oh,
mean,
of course.
huh?
Well, yeah. Now that you've got adoption, it's just like the PC. Everybody hated the PC.
Well,
We
you know,
had
as I,
Y2K coming because the programmers were stupid. Yeah.
I mean, as I was telling you earlier, now on our first first or second conversation today, if you wonder, and I speak a couple times a day, I've got into the habit of doing so, and I'm a creature of habit, so I will be working in
Same
here.
here.
You know, I'll be working in here or doing something, and I like, well, hell, I'll just call Tuck and see what the fuck he's doing. and then you know that's what happens. But and
And
we
I think some of our conversations are better. Like when we like some of the shit that you and I talk about. I think. Um. Hold on. There's somebody over there. Is that? Oh shit. There's two deer.
oh
Holy
dear.
shit.
I mean,
Yeah, there's two deer.
yeah, I about let the voices in the head take over today. I mean, I was on the front porch and there was a mom deer and a baby deer over there. Baby deer was probably a little bigger than my biggest cat here, and I mean,
These are some big ass deer.
I could have went over and grabbed it, took it. I about did it. I about did it.
Oh man.
A lady tried to give me a skunk today.
A what?
A skunk.
Oh dear God. I thought Sam fucking got in a fight with a skunk earlier.
A baby skunk. You take it. You descent it. Oh man, you got an awesome fucking pet. I mean, you do.
Wow, I gotta take a picture of
But
this.
yeah, you got an awesome pet. Awesome pet. Crazy little son of a bitch, but you got an awesome pet. I don't recommend anybody doing that, by the way. You know, until you get the hang of it, until you get it descended, you're gonna need a whole lot of tomato juice and kerosene. But anyway, yeah, like I said,
Oh
yeah,
shit, they're coming over here.
the deer.
Yeah. They're coming this way. They're fucking now I know why they're not mowing. Yeah, the grass and the deer are almost the same fucking. Yes, now I know why Sam's. Oh fuck, dude, this thing's gonna come real close to me. I'm trying to get a good picture of it.
You better hope it's not a buck in heat.
No, this looks like a kid. Yeah, as soon as it sees me, it's gonna go. So, I'm waiting for it to get a little bit to move out away from the bush, but yeah, it's over here grazing. Oh, oh, oh. He even sees me and just doesn't care. All right, I'm gonna send you some pictures.
All right, you send me pictures. I'll put them online.
Samantha, no, you're being a douche. Quit being a douche.
Thank you.
Uh, let's see,
I don't think I will.
messenger.
I mean, I might be able to figure it out.
Sam, chill. Lay your ass down.
But you know, now while he's doing that, scientists say this is one of those ones that kind of freaked me out a little bit. This is the whole um, Audrey, go away. Um, that they discovered these little lab zombies. Um, there was chunks removed from a marine creature more than 3 years ago that haven't degraded or showed any sign. I mean, or showed signs of biological activity. And it kind of asked the question, what does it mean to be alive? There was these, they're calling them immortal things. And there's a weird little creepy thing here that we probably should talk about. But anyway, amputated tissue from the sea cucumber species, whatever the hell you call that. You can look it up if you're curious. Appears to exist in the gray zone of life. The discovery describes. Thank you. Um, anyway, it was published on May 27th. Science Advanced, and they're saying it's useful for future research. So what that means is they're going to try to replicate this and put it in people. Mice first, probably. I know. I mean, there might be some crazy experimenters in there. It seems like they always stick something in people that comes from these things. But they believe it might help us or help people or regrow their missing parts. Hello, Texas. Now this is in the Atlantic and Arctic Ocean. And these things, they detach. It's kind of like they're any part of their body. But any part of their body, let's say they get chewed up by something or whatever. That means these little bad boys are out there floating around. And if you've ever been in the ocean, you probably have one in you, which is messed up. So we got this immortal cell in us that's floating around that, it kind of makes you wonder, where does certain things come from? How do certain things work? I mean, we sure are missing a lot. And I mean, you got lizards that lose their tail to escape predators and grow it back. Kind of like what the hell them green lizards? What's the lizards in Florida? They're all over the fucking place.
The geckos?
No, the other ones, the ones in the trees. They fall down when it gets cold.
I don't know.
They eat kiwi. I had one as a pet. Oh god.
Not the iguanas.
Iguanas, yes, iguanas. Yeah, them things, people, they eat their tails. But I mean, yeah, literally, if you take and hold one or whatever, they'll snap their tail off so they can run away. It's some of the wild shit. But they do it in self-defense. But they can regrow it back. I mean, it's not a big issue. And there's a lot of creatures now that we're discovering that can actually regrow parts of their body parts and that literally have immortal tissue, skin chunks or whatever. Somehow it works in the system. They don't really know why.
What, people have actually had this happen?
What, people are regrowing their limbs?
Yeah.
Now, there's only been 2 documented cases of people actually regrowing their limbs. There was a lady in China, and then there's some lady on the outskirts of Asia up there, up in the Himalayas or whatever, that had lost an arm, and her arm started to grow back and regenerate. There is a whole bunch of stories that circulated that there's other people. This they actually wouldn't go looking for these people because they believe they have like superhuman powers or something. But it is definitely interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing to get into and see all the stories and things. Maybe we'll do a story on that. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I didn't really think about this until earlier. But I mean, this is they're. I'm not saying this. This is making us ask a whole lot of questions. If these things can stay alive this long, if indefinitely, then chameleon's another one. Then we should really evaluate what it means to be alive. When people actually do pass away, are they still alive? There's been numerous cases where gravediggers and stuff have went back underground and had to move a body or transfer something, and the skeleton itself is moved. So I don't know. That there's a lot of weird thoughtology in there that you need to think about, and we probably don't need to think about because it makes life a lot more difficult and worse for us. But I don't think we know jack shit about science anymore. I used to love science. Now it's so fucking confusing. I mean, I understand it, but still. So, Tuck, you were talking about something. I'm going to put these pictures up here.
Oh, what, you going to the homeless thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
just
ready
jump.
for it.
We'll just jump back and forth. I mean, we'll see. Um, right now, trying to throw your.
There's only a couple of good ones.
It don't matter. I mean, I can flip through them and ooh, I have no idea what that means. Okay, that one. Is that my primary? Yeah, that's primary monitor. I'll make sure I don't pop up something I shouldn't. And there's one of Tuck's deers you saw.
Yeah,
That's a buck, man. That's a buck. We're looking at what, one, two.
I can't see that far. That's on Zoom.
Yeah, that's a buck right there, man. Um, yep, yep. Oh shit, can't show that picture. Anyway, that
Did I
is.
send something I wasn't supposed to?
No, I accidentally sent my secret stash I found. Anyway, but yeah, I probably should have cut that window off too. Now that I think about it, I'm watching one screen and another.
Uh, uh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Here we go. Where's my deactivate button? Go away. That didn't work. Ain't it? All right. There we go. But anyway, guys. So that was that. And I think I learned something. I need to get better at doing that. But nothing too crazy went up there. But yeah. But anyway, um, yeah, go ahead. Let's run down this topic and see if we can't figure out something. And
Okay.
I'll get my war tools ready over here.
Okay. So do you want me to just start,
Yeah,
or
go
do
ahead
you
and
want
start.
to?
You go ahead and start. Now,
Okay.
audience, we're gonna try to have a in-depth conversation about something. We didn't plan this. There's been a couple of things that have been going on, and Tuck's been pointing them out. He's been thinking about it, and he definitely seems upset about it. But we're
Yes,
gonna,
I am.
they didn't, Anyway, I was sure was gonna make a joke there, but anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Um. Okay. Well, I'm the one laughing, I guess. All right. So we were talking about how to solve homelessness, or like how do you fix the problem? How do you alleviate it? And you got to realize that the person that becomes homeless is your neighbor, your friend, a family member. These are normal people just like you and I. And we are psychologically conditioned one way, and we have forgotten our roots as a country. So to start solving homelessness means that we have to have a, an updated explanation, or something along those lines. But the thing is when you're talking about self-sufficiency and self-reliance, that means that if you take a risk and you fall on your face, you could take a risk and fall on your face and get up, because that is what the American dream, the American opportunity really always was, is is the ability to fall on your face and get back up. And sometimes you fall on your face a lot because you take a lot of risks, and sometimes they pan out and then they don't. And sometimes you take a lot of risks and they do pan out, or whatever. Okay? But all in all, we look at homelessness as something to be feared. Okay? And so that fear, when somebody becomes homeless, becomes psychologically traumatizing to them to begin with. They need to understand, it's like, okay, I want to start a business. Okay. And I'm going to take some risks, and I may end up losing everything, including becoming homeless. Am I willing to take that risk? If yes, then go do it. If no, keep working for somebody else, and hope that there's always a job for you. But, there are people that want to take risks and want to, explore life, and so on and so forth. Also, we are so tied to everybody has to have a house. That is the full narrative. Everybody has to have a house. No, not everybody has to have a house. Not everybody wants to have a house. Okay, I like to travel. Okay, I like to travel and be in my hammock and find a little patch of woods and hang from a couple of trees and get a good night's sleep. All right. do I need to have a house? No. Do I need to have a job? No. Do I need to have any of these things? No. The society is self-imposing
Well, I mean,
all
you
of these
got to.
prerequisites on us.
You
And
got
that
to
is
though.
what's creating the problem. Say
But you
what?
got to. You got to.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you
We,
don't.
you
Because
know,
you want to know what? Back
how
in,
you
in
going to
in
eat?
the 1840s, you had guys roaming around the countryside with a rifle and a fucking horse. You can't do that anymore. So
Oh,
now
you
the
can't.
way in which you it's the same story, different set,
I mean,
different background.
back then, when you got out of jail, they would give you a horse. Didn't have to be a great one, but they'd give you a horse. They'd give you a $1 gold piece, and they would give you a rifle, a used military rifle,
Mm-hmm.
and those are your tools to get to wherever you needed to go in the United States. Now it's technically on the law that they have to give this to you, and it still is, which I found
I need to go to
law.
jail. I need one.
Well, I mean, they don't do it, but I mean, it is on the books. I mean,
Well, no, I can report.
someone can technically argue, but I think at one point they did. They can't really remove it the way it is, and they normally give somebody that they consider what they give you in prison or jail or whatever of equal value. You know, like,
Yes, because of just compensation.
yeah. But I mean, that's basically what that was. Yeah, just compensation.
Okay, so
But I mean, here's what I mean. I mean, most people will not be able to survive out here if they do not do something on the street. And we definitely won't be able to survive if we don't do something at home. I mean, that they will have to do something for food. I mean, you could, if everyone in the United States were to decide to go hunt, and that's how they needed to do it, then it would not work. It would be impossible. I mean, you'd have people hunting
yeah, I
themselves.
think it's like three to 7 days worth of food supply, based upon the way we do
Well, I mean, it
our
would be a
hunting.
lot less because see those are statistical prepper numbers, and they lie. Anything you hear in the prepper community is a lie. And yes, I'm saying that. I know I got prepper people on there, and I'm saying it. When you make videos and you tell these people this stuff, you're lying. And the reason you're lying is because you're out of stuff, they're out of stuff. And when you go out and you go looking for stuff, you're going to run into 4 other motherfuckers with guns. And they're looking for stuff. So and unless you can whip out a bag of Doritos and a joint, you're going down the road. I mean,
Yeah, I see your point,
I mean,
but
you're not gonna be able to find the food that you want to find because I mean,
but
in
that's
reality, when
no.
reality sets in, people are greedy. All right, they will hold on
Yeah,
to what they have and keep, and they're not going to give you anything because they don't know when they're going to get the next meal, or they won't know when they get the next can of beans, or whatever it is we're hoarding at the moment. So I mean, you know,
but see, we going back to kind of like this whole thing, because you're right, as far as like we couldn't survive that, but you're never going to really see that unless dude, it would the chances of having to where everybody has to run into the woods, I think is going to be it's going to be very slim. I don't think that
then
there's always, if you look
actually,
at the collapse of any country, there is a certain segment of it that always continues to function. It's less commercial activity, but there's still commercial activity. And then the black market expands, which means you just have different commercial activity that's not on the books. And there's still ways to
yes,
survive.
there will be centralities and stuff like that. There will be city centers that where all these
Yeah.
things, yeah, and people bring stuff in and trade and do whatever, and sure, but eventually you will run out. And I mean, the United States is a big place, and I mean, sure, some stuff will survive, some stuff will go, but we're talking about an exorbitant amount of the population here. I mean, when you start, the only way for that model to even work on paper is to have 4 or 5 cities that are fully stocked and supplied, because all the other people that come into these cities would be it'd be so congested that it'd be impossible to get around. Hell, and for the most part, if something like a virus or something happens, you're definitely not going to be able to survive. Go in there, and people won't want to come in.
Well,
Um,
but yeah, we're talking about there's still going to be people that are going to figure out how to farm, how to grow, how to do things. There's going to be. I would say you're looking at the bottom 30% of society is either going to starve, or
when's the
they're
last
going
time you actually? Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you have sat down with a farmer and had an in-depth
a couple years
conversation?
ago.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, that's how I found out I'd never find fucking farm work on the road.
yeah. Um, there's a couple of factors there, but that's not one. I mean another. The one thing is it's hard work, and the majority of generation does not want to do that. The majority of generation does not want to throw hay bales. The majority of generation can't throw hay bales. The majority of the generation can't hoe fields. The majority of the generation can't do other things, and they might be able to force themselves to some degree, but there will be a can't in there at some point. People are just people, and
Mm,
I mean, there are.
in
I mean,
all my
if you
years,
take five kids right now and put them together, and you put a fish hook down on the table and a worm in front of each one of them, I bet you dollars of donuts none of them can put a worm on that fish hook.
probably. But when you get to the survival mode, especially as long as I've been doing this, there comes a certain point when you don't even want to get up out of your hammock. You just like, dude, I just want to lay here all fucking day. But you force yourself to get up.
But there's
You
some
know,
people
you
that won't, and I mean
and those are the people that will never make it.
right, but
those
I
are
mean
the
you're
those are the
still
true useless eaters in a lot, not
uh,
really, but I mean, people that are you've got to be able to have, like, I have to learn, like, I'm learning not to go spend money to eat out. I'm learning to just keep it in my pocket, save it for things that I actually need, instead of letting it go, because I got loose while I was on trail, because about every 3 days you come into a city, so spending 10 15 bucks isn't a big deal, but now you're in a city every day, it makes a big difference, and you're like, shit, I need to change my habits.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's things like this that determine whether you're going to function and survive. This is how you avoid a lot of fucking trouble. And I even though I don't want to pack up my camp every fucking day, I still pack up my camp every fucking day, because when I start thinking about and even getting a little comfortable, I remind myself of, like, dude, I got thousands of dollars worth of gear I don't want stolen. I know it'll be stolen, so I
Oh
just
yeah, I
fucking
mean,
pack it
and
up.
that is a good routine. That is a good routine, and that's a routine. A lot of us, you know, either have like a routine where we get up, we make the bed, we do other things like that. Some of us don't. I don't. Um, admittedly, I'm a slob. I am.
I am when I'm indoors.
I get comfortable in a situation. The house is the way I want it to be. I'm comfortable the way things are set up. I'm used to them. You know, it's just the way it is. I get used to it mentally. Plus, I probably got like a little ADHD, and I'm autistic probably somewhere in my head. So, I'm sure that I like certain things a certain way.
Yeah.
But I lost brain throat.
All right. Well, getting
Yeah.
back to my solution to homelessness, our original founding principles of this country was that you had opportunity and you had to stand on your own 2 feet, which meant that if you took a risk, you had to be willing to suffer the consequences. The thing is, we have now modernized. The government, through policy, through being involved in the economy and being involved in our everyday lives, has changed the dynamic in which we are able to survive. And so something as simple as three hots and a cot, rehab services, uh, mental health services, medical services, dental services. That's basic services that that is it's sustainable. It's managing the overall problem. But the thing is the people that are coming out, okay, they are not taught that to stand on their own 2 feet. They're taught that the world begins and ends with those four walls, and if they lose it, the psychotic break that they have. So part of changing this is to change our attitude and our mentality and how we view homelessness, because if we view it as an opportunity, people will treat it as an opportunity. If we treat it as something that you can be a victim of, then people will fucking take the victimization. You've got to celebrate the people that that are overcoming the obstacles, and that becomes your propaganda to the house people, and it creates a more competitive society because people are
Okay,
willing to
okay.
take risks.
Maybe we're approaching the conversation wrong. I want you to outline 4 steps, just quick sentences, how you fix homelessness. That's what I'm asking you for. I'm asking.
Four quick sentences.
I'm not asking for. I mean, we'll get into like explanations if need to be, but what I need to hear, because I mean that's the thing is you get on there and you start laying out a conversation to somebody, some group of people, whatever it is, and you have this long detailed conversation that you're trying to tell them, and it confuses them, and it confuses the people down below it, and you have to make something simple enough to take care of the solution, and we're referring to the video that he sent me. If you guys are wondering, um, about homelessness, and well, not homelessness. What is about homelessness? But tell them about the video, and then we'll go on
Okay,
there, and then we'll
so
backtrack.
there's a guy running for mayor of LA that wants to that's basically doing the same thing that Trump wants to do and the DeSantis and all the other MAGA Republicans want to do, which is all of the homeless are drug addicts and mental health. They're criminals, and we need to lock them all up and force them into either rehab, mental institutions, or jail. But there should not be a single person on the fucking streets because all homeless are basically lazy drug addicts.
Now, they did say that, and that is something they're trying to push apparently.
No,
Um,
that is what you know what I think that there needs to be some sort of detainment, but the problem that I have with the detainment is that they're doing it as a blanket statement. The problem with the attitude towards homeless and why you have the problems that you have is because only okay, so about 30%, maximum 40% of the homeless population are what you see out on the fucking street corner. These are your drug addicts, your mental health people, stuff like that. Maximum 30 to 40%. The remaining are hiding. They're in transit. They're doing something to where they can blend in, better their situation. They may be working homeless. They may be van life homeless. They may be
yeah,
nomad
but I
homeless.
mean,
They may
you
be
can't. I
whatever.
mean, the whole thing. What it boils down to is, regardless of whatever they try, whatever solutions they've tried before, you know, they've tried
Well,
you know, housing. They've tried to do other things, outreach, stuff like that. And then they started doing the arrests a long time ago. And they take it and they would arrest somebody. And if we're talking referring to the drugless, I mean, the drug home, well, they were telling them they were both. I mean, if you tested positive for drugs, they considered you a drug addict. Let's put it that way. I
yeah,
mean,
and a
and
lot
they
of
have, you know,
places are
but
like
now,
that.
you know, you go in and so you get picked off the street, you're pulled in, you're tested for drugs, and they say, okay, look, you know, as far as I know, they didn't classify weed on you, but if you had like we're talking like heroin and stuff like that back then and cocaine, and they would tell you, okay, if you test positive for it next time, you know, you're only going to get like 3 chances, and once they
Dude,
got that,
they're not even giving you that
well,
anymore.
I know that's what I'm saying, but see, that's what the reason they're not is because it's not effective.
Well, here's
We treated the same way we now, and I have no problem against prostitution, but we treated prostitution the same way. We had a 3 strike system, and the women knew it, and the guys knew it, and you know they could um, you know
shuffle them around.
make money off a girl 3 times before they got hit and had to go into jail. Um, But the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of changes, fake names, false names, stuff like that. If you're smart, you can figure out stuff. But I mean, and like I said, I don't see anything wrong with that. If a woman wants to do it, so be it. Whatever. I'm not in it. I'm in it. I'm not in it. But yeah, they treated the homeless problem the same way. And I mean, this idea comes from New York and it spread around. I mean, it was not nothing that was secret or hidden. But it didn't work. And then they tried outreach. Outreach didn't work. They tried another arrest thing. It didn't work. And I mean, we have a growing homeless problem. And the problem is this. The majority of the people that are becoming homeless have been exposed or have used some type of chemical in the past. Now, you can blame Purdue, you can blame anybody else you want to on this, but the problem is they have taken something at some point in their life to kill the pain, to stop this, to make them feel better.
Most humans have.
That's right. And I mean,
so we're all drug addicts.
That's the problem here. So when you take these people and they don't have homes and where they can do this, see, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is if you have all these people doing all these drugs out here in public and everything, when they had homes, they were doing the same thing in their homes.
Not necessarily.
I'm saying the majority of them. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some of them.
I've surveyed the homeless in a lot of the places over many of the years. Most of them come out, they weren't on drugs. What ends up happening, and this is the common story.
I'm saying they use something at some point.
No, what I'm saying is they would sit down with their friends and they'd had a bad day and he'd just hand it to them and say, here, try this. Next thing you know, they're fucking jump started and they're in it. They didn't. The drugs wasn't what initially made them homeless, but it may be what's keeping them homeless because they made the wrong friend, got to know the wrong person who handed them the wrong thing, and it was something they couldn't walk away from.
Do you know the only system that has actually ever worked to eliminate chronic homelessness?
What?
It's the Finland model.
Not true.
Technically, they do not have homelessness.
Yeah, not true though. It's a full-on lie, and I know people who are in the know, and even the guy that created the Housing First program for Finland. I'm connected to him through a homeless entrepreneur, and I'm telling you, they have them hidden, and they're still out there on the streets, but they have them hidden, so that they're out of public view, so that they can say, look at what we've done. But they put them over in like warehouse rows and shit like that.
Well, maybe that's what they're going to do here. But I mean, here's what's in the model now. Here's what's in the model. Okay, the core driver, and all of this will happen at the same time. It won't happen in blocks. You won't have a thing set up where you just send people to and everything else. All of this will happen at the same time. If they follow the Finland model to fix homelessness, this is what you will see all at the same time, and it could affect some of us, and it could affect other people. But anyway, here's the thing that they will do. Oh, let it go, subscriber. I was homeless, living in my car, working until the VA helped me back into housing.
Yeah,
I'm a disabled veteran. Yeah, in my home.
Veterans are the only ones.
And he says my homelessness was drug related. Thank you for your service, man. I've been with you, and I work with a lot of you guys. You should know how to outreach to me if you ever do. Make sure you have a battle buddy to talk to, and make sure somebody knows to call and check on you. That being said, yeah, I mean, I got friends, I got stuff that they were going through the same thing, and the veteran homelessness issue is a big deal.
Yes, but
speaking of which, I'm just reminding him that we're veteran thing, and you were up there anyway. Right. Tuck is in Washington. I tried to get him into the veteran homelessness thing. But they don't seem to want to talk to us. They don't want to talk to vets, and they don't want to talk to people who's actually been homeless. So, there's something fishy going on there. But anyway, go ahead, Tuck. I got to run to the bathroom. It's right next door, so I can hear you.
So you want to talk about solving the homeless problem? This is an interesting stat. So I have always said that in the homeless community, for the not-for-profits and all the different places that want to raise money, all you have to do is say help a homeless veteran, and it's just like saying save a panda in China, okay, or save a koala bear. I call it the panda bear effect, and the veteran community is that in within the homeless community. That's how they raise money, is to say we want to help veterans, and that's where most of the
Oh, what
money
were you
comes
saying,
from,
Ken? Sorry.
privately, and even some from the federal government, but more money privately comes from like the funding the veterans programs. So since 2010, veteran homelessness has declined by 55%. They're putting $350 billion a year into the VA, and a large chunk of this is just to house them, whether they have a job or not, to get them the proper training. Now, one thing that happens within the veteran community that the homeless community does not get, which is like a serious disservice to a lot of people in the regular homeless community. If it wasn't for my grandfather telling me how he was able to deal with his PTSD, because he went through the VA because he was a Vietnam vet. That was the only way I was able to actually stabilize. Because out here in the homeless programs, you've got flunkies that want to sit there and diagnose everybody with you're either bipolar or schizophrenic. Do you hear voices? No, you're bipolar. Do you hear voices? Yes, you're schizophrenic. I mean, there's some of these quack doctors that are out
Yeah, but
here
now
within the homeless community don't do shit.
I'm gonna toss this at you, man, and it's something you don't know because you're not there. But the VA is not as good as you think it is, and we don't have.
No,
I mean, you don't have that. They're the same way. They're the same people you guys see. Same people everybody
you,
sees.
my old man and my grandfather did 23 years, my dad did 20, and I always asked them, because I always heard all this bad shit about the VA, and I always just chalked it up to, well, they did their 20 years, so they probably get better care. But
No,
back in the
not how it works.
day, the VA had VA care, and active duty retired got TRICARE. Now you guys get TRICARE, whether you're a
Tricare,
non-retired or a retired
yeah. Now
veteran.
Tricare is the equivalent of Medicaid.
Really?
Yes.
Because my old man, TRICARE
It
takes
ain't the
care of
same.
everything.
You're talking a number of presidents in between and a number of bill changes. But yeah, they're doing something when it comes to the VA and medical and stuff like that. You can count on it every 6 months.
My
Sometimes it's
my old
four or
man,
five.
my old man retired 3 months before 9/11. He sat there on a couch for 6 months. All of a sudden, they thought he had a stroke. They sent him down to the Air Force Base, because he retired at Fort Hood. They sent him down to the Air Force Base in San Antonio. Thought he had a stroke. Turned out that because he'd been active in the Army for 20 years, sitting on a couch for 6 months, sent him into a state of depression. It mimicked a stroke. He had to fucking relearn how to use, a whole part of his body and stuff like that. He's had what is it, like, four back surgeries, two shoulder surgeries, all kinds of surgeries. And like like my old man, like he gets some of the best care that I've ever seen. And like I lived with him for a couple of years, just seeing all the doctor care he got, and he never had to pay a dime for it, because he got TRICARE for life.
Seeing both of them side by side. I mean, I tell you, I've seen them. Seeing both of them side by side, they are the equivalent of Medicaid.
Huh?
There, you don't
I
get
don't
any,
know.
when it comes to that, you don't get anything better or worse. You don't. You still have to go through fucking hell if you want a wheelchair. You still have to go through fucking hell if you want a walker. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that's the government bureaucracy right there.
I'm just saying it doesn't matter. It's on both sides of the coin. It's still the same way. You just got one that says another, and everything. Veterans don't have a benefit over other people, and they definitely don't have a benefit over homeless people, regular homeless
Well,
people.
no, in the homeless community, yeah, they're actually treated differently. They get their own special barracks. They get they get special stuff like
Well,
when they get
I'm not
donations and
talking
it's
about
really good,
what
it
the
goes to the veterans, and it doesn't go to the regular homeless
you know
community.
I'm
I've
not
watched it.
Well, I mean, there might be some things, and there might be some groups that specifically deal in with the homeless and trying to do homeless outreach. I mean, part of the population that believes that people that are the veterans that are homeless because of things like PTSD and things like that. They've been actively looking at the if anything, the homeless group, the veteran homeless group is one large um, experiment. I mean, they're looking to see how they can actually fix this solution or problem, whatever. And the veterans, um, you know, the VA can sit there and actively monitor it and kind of study it like an ink blot test. Now they can't do that with the regular homeless population because everyone's not locked in, justified, or whatever. And I mean, a homeless guy can walk in with Medicaid, but he may not be honest about what he's doing. A veteran has to, because if a veteran's called out, then they're going to be hit. They're going to lose their funds if they're not being honest about what they're doing and what they're taking and what everything else. They get hit and take their funds. I mean, but yeah, I mean,
Well, maybe money
the
wise.
veterans are the experiment, man.
But the veterans within the homeless community, any program you go to, veterans get preferential treatment.
Well,
They
yeah,
get moved to the front of the
of course they
line
do.
for everything.
But I mean, of course they do. I mean, that is the way the America is. I mean, veterans have served for the country. They have went over. They have risked their lives. They did whatever. They come out. They're fucked up and they're on the street. Now, other people either one choose to be homeless or two do something to become homeless, and so they're on the street. They're not homeless in itself is the same thing, but veterans being homeless and regular people being homeless, there's a line there, and I mean I'm sure some people abuse that line, and that's the reason why you see a lot of fake veterans out there that are homeless. And I'm sure they do get special treatments. I'm sure they do get special boxes, and I'm sure there's other veterans that will come through and they will make sure that they have this or that. And one of the longest scams that I know of is homeless guys wearing veterans clothes and
Yeah, I know.
I
Stolen
mean, so that's
valor.
wrong. I mean, there used to be there was a time there that there was so much sentiment, anti-sentiment against veterans in general, that it was insane. And some of the stuff they got to put up with when they're just out and about is insane. I mean, so you go to one
I,
war and you come into another.
I've had a VA advocate actually tell me this, and I refuse to do this actually. Even though I was in the Marine Corps for 31 days, because of like how everything happened, I still get to go to the VA and collect benefits and and stuff like that. Although I don't get classified technically as a veteran, there is like a secondary class because of it being exacerbated by the Marine Corps. Um, now, but I choose not to take that because, like, I didn't go in to get any type of preferential treatment. I went in there because I felt it was my duty and I didn't expect anything special. My dad taught me that way. My grandfather taught me that way. You don't get anything special just because you went in. It was
No,
something
you
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 did
you're
because you
getting you're
wanted
getting you're
to.
getting special treatment and stuff for being in there 2 to 3 4 years and having shells and bullets fly over your head. I mean, you were
My,
only in
my,
there. You
my,
like you said, you was only in there 30 days. I mean, you was in
uh,
basic. So I mean, you're not.
Well, it's just the way I was raised. My
Yeah, but still.
grandfather thought the same thing. And my father, both of them were deployed in war zones.
And the reason we have that is because there was case after case after case when it comes to veterans. I mean, the the veterans literally had to fight their way up the top to do what's been done. I mean, this isn't stuff they were given. Anything they that's on the books or anything like that. They weren't given this stuff. They had to file motions and papers and stuff like that, and people working for them and people wanting to help them. if anything shows you the way how fucked up our political system is, you look at the history of veterans affairs in general, and then you will, you get it.
Oh no, I've heard some of the stories and stuff, but like I said, I talked to my dad, I talked to my grandfather, two long-term veterans, the people that fucking, I remember when my grandfather like spent 3 days in the hospital because he just randomly was starting to bleed. I asked them, and they always told me that the military. The only problem my grandfather had was how they screwed him on Asian orange because they changed the formula right as they deployed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of veterans. They don't get the Asian orange because of what year they were in. If you went in country after 1967, they'd already changed the formula, and it was only the original formula from
No,
64 to 67.
I mean, now see, I'm a Agent Orange baby, and my dad had Agent Orange, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was
The
out
the
there.
thing is, this is what the government is recognizing. They
No,
will
oh,
only
I don't know.
recognize it for
I
those
mean,
three
I
years.
know, I know, I know, I know. I've seen. I mean, if they want to, if they actually open ever said that and said it was on one of our claims or something, then I mean, fuck, man, I got pictures. I got all kinds of stuff. I got pictures of my dad out there slinging this shit and doing what they want to do. I got pictures of the barrels, and like I said, we got medical records at the gazoo where this stuff messed with our DNA. Agent Orange was fucking horrible. It
Oh
is
yeah.
fucking horrible. Yeah, ghost syndrome. As Martin was talking about that, ghost syndrome. Did you know that what was it when we were burning our fatigues and stuff and the gear over there?
Uh huh.
The reason we were burning that gear because there was
Do I
these.
know the
Now
reason?
I'm just saying is in general, and I mean I was actually referring to Martin. Yeah, I know you weren't there, so you don't know. But I mean the
No,
the the thing is it's there was these tiny little bugs, and they would. It might be where we got Gulf syndrome from, because the yeah, well, they said it was chemical. They said it was chemical. They said it was from burning the tar, and they said it was from burning the paint, and then they said it was from burning the shit, and we mixed it with diesel and poop to burn it off. But actually, what we think may have really caused it is there's this little tiny fucking bug, man, a little tiny thing, and you can't. I mean, it's smaller than a tick, and it was getting in people. It was getting under gas masks. It was getting under clothes. It was getting all over stuff. That's the reason we have these primer and coats. These right here. So we can. I got one behind me, and we have these primer and coats so we can kill the bugs that was on there. And I mean, yeah, they've given us fucking shots at the gazoo. But yeah, fuck all that shit. I don't know. There's a bunch of weird stuff goes on when you go in the military. Somebody's always doing something to do some kind of chemical or some kind of biological thing. Fuck all that.
I met a guy when I was walking from Houston to Killeen, and he picked me up. It turns out he had Gulf War syndrome really bad. He had to work on an oil rig at night because being exposed to sun just caused his skin to burn. Like my old man just came back with a rash on his head, but he had this guy fucking had it really bad.
And now I mean, there's like other, I don't know. Um, but here's this Finland model in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about. I know we're jumping around a little bit. Um, there's the supply side. They say that we should build more housing at all price points. I'm not sure what that means, but all price points. The root cause in most cities is a shortage of affordable units. Me personally, if we did that here, I would disagree. There's plenty of houses for people if they would just get them, and they would just
But
use them, and
they're
they had a
being
way to
held
get them.
by they're being held by investment companies
Well, I
that
know,
are trying to save their assets,
I know,
and so
and
therefore it drives the price up instead of actually like
well, see,
having the actual market rate.
see. I think that's the idea. If all these investment companies get all these places and buy up all these properties around here, and then if they were to enact this model, then and the government pays them for the houses, they're going to become very, very wealthy very, very quick. Um, Now there's the next thing is rezoning laws, parking minimums, single family only zones, height limits, that you know artificially retract supply. The next thing is it says it needs to expand permanent supportive housing for people with chronic mental illness and addiction. I agree with that. I think we should have some kind of thing set up where you can help people, monitor them, do something like that if you can find a way to get them off of stuff. Um,
Yeah, but you know what? Housing first is put them in there and then give them services. That's the whole thing about housing first is house them before you deal with them because they can't deal with their addiction until they're housed. They can't deal with their mental health until they're housed because they need the stability. And
Yeah,
the
but
thing is
I mean,
most of them
I know,
they
I
wait
mean, I
to be
understand,
asked for
and
it.
that's fine. I mean, that's what they're talking about doing. They're talking about providing supportive housing for people with chronic mental illnesses and addiction. They're talking
Yes,
about getting them in there and giving them treatment, but
but here's the flaw.
they have to
The flaw.
have that treatment.
No, but the flaw is not that they have to have it under housing first. The ideology is you will ask for rehab services. I don't have to come force you into it. So you may be in your addiction for the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months, 20 years before you say, okay, I need some help. See, housing first says wait that 20 years and then get them the help when they're ready, not force it down their throat. Now, there is some merit to that because you cannot force anybody to do anything. You could think you could do it, but are they really going to follow through? Not even my dog will do something I'm trying to force her to do.
Now,
She figures out ways around it.
if you anyone everyone do this. We're talking about the Finland model. Now, if when you're referring to what he just said, now there's something you need to go do, and I want you to go to YouTube and I want you to type in Finland jail and Finland housing units, and I want you to look at those, and then look around at your life and tell me which one looks better, because in some instances, in some cases, I know you may not want to be there and may not want to be there for the Finland model is a new homeless model or old homeless. They say that the Finland is the only place that got rid of chronic homelessness, and
Which is a
it's up
lie.
to debate. Um, but now if you look at Finland jails and the Finland housing things, they are some of the most nicest prisons. I can't believe I'm saying that about something. They are some of the most nicest prisons that I have ever seen in my life. I mean, the food is gourmet. They have. I mean, it's wild. Now, I'm not sure how much of that's for TV, but I'm told the whole prison system is like that. I actually talked to somebody that was in one of them, and he said he didn't want to leave. Um, and I mean that's saying a lot. I know you can get stuck in there or whatever, but yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, yeah. But I don't think. But you think they should force it on them?
You know what? Here, the detain, like I keep saying, my problem with the detention centers is that it's a blanket statement. There are four communities within the homeless community. Go after the drug addicted, but you got to bring out the other parts of the community and let them know that they're going to be safe and that they're not going to be labeled as fucking drug addicts and useless fucking eaters. Then they might come out and actually show their face. That's the reason why outreach can't find us is because we don't trust you. We don't trust because the second they pull us out, we get marked, and we don't want to be marked. We don't want to be put in with that because everybody thinks that homeless are fucking drug addicts. So therefore, those of us that are functional, we're in places you don't see us, or we're walking by you and you don't even know it.
Oh, well, no. I mean that's not been you know. I, you can argue the mark thing, but and as I tell everybody, I said if you're in a place and you think you're being marked, then that's a place you need to leave. Um, because there's nothing you can do as a person to change your overall surroundings unless you leave. And I mean, I know that is one of the hardest things to swallow for anybody.
Sam, leave it alone.
You cannot. I mean, like one person that or a group of people or whatever that has a beef with the government or the local government or whatever. There's no way you're going to be able to change their mind for doing anything. Um, but now that, no, but you know, in order to drive this new thing, but like I said, this is their model. These are the things they actually enacted and put into work, and you know, they provided the supportive care for housing and people with chronic mental illnesses and addictions. They did reforming zones, so you know, people they can't put up tents and beside schools and homes and stuff like that. Um, and they started building more housing. Now, in order to the funding part or the income side, you know, you had a supply and demand. This is a supply and demand model they come up with. They expanded home housing vouchers. Section 8 in the U.S. has a long wait list. That is a big issue here. That's a big issue around here. If you want to
Oh,
get
I
in
know.
Section 8, HUD, whatever, you got to go on the
10 years in
CJS list.
some places.
Yeah, and I mean, so that is something. I mean, that's what I'm saying is if you expand the housing vouchers and you open up the housing, then you have these people can move into it. So you do knock some of the
Do
homeless
you
down.
do you know the requirements they put on these fucking landlords to be able to fucking get HUD money? It has to be ADA approved. You have to have,
I know,
even if the
I know.
person, yeah, and that costs them so much money, and they're fucking they're, you know,
Well, I mean,
you.
it's the same way with VA. I mean, if you go get a VA loan, I mean, don't think it's something special.
Oh
If
no,
you
I'm aware
anything
of it.
comes from the government, you gotta go through. Actually, the requirements to meet for a VA loan are much harder than HUD or Section 8.
Well, of course.
I mean, the things they have to do, go through, look at. I mean, if there's a fucking nail out of whack, then they'll fail it. I mean, they don't want to give you the money, so they make it hard. Now, the other thing is raise wages and expand rental assistance programs, which is something you're probably not going to see
They're
happen.
raising wages and it's making it worse.
Oh no, I know, and you see that in California too. But I mean, like I said, this is what they did in Finland, and they did all of this at the same time, and it worked. Well, to some degree, or they say. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but they're a different. They have a different culture.
Well, I
They
know,
have a different culture.
but as the idea, they put all of these things into force at the same very time, and this is how they dealt with it, and that's what they're saying. So they took an astronomical amount of people. I mean, this is what they did. This is what they did for however long it took them to do this. But they put all of these things in order, and they focused solely on this and dealt with it. There is not any other solution aside from doing this one large major thing against the population if you don't want them to be homeless. I mean,
People
it's
think
just
that
not.
people think that all you have to do is house somebody and you've ended their
No,
homelessness.
there's more to it than that.
That's the biggest fucking lie that you
Well,
know how long it
I
takes.
mean, you gotta do like I said. And you go into it, you gotta take care of the housing, you gotta take care of the mental health, you gotta take care of the drug stuff, you gotta take care of the paranoid motherfuckers like you that don't want to come out. I mean, you gotta take care of these things, and you gotta integrate mental health and addiction treatment with housing. Like when you go get a house, when they give you a house, you know, you need to have counselors. You need to have medical. I mean, because you've been out on the street for God knows how long, it might do you good to have a doctor for a little while. Don't you think?
I think that in our modern society, in the same way that we labeled water and certain things as public resources, which could not get like price manipulation and shit, I think that
Not
housing
yet.
should be the same thing. I
Not
think
yet.
that well, they undid most of what FDR did, but FDR did a lot of stuff to, yeah, basically the only reason why they're able to charge you for the water is not for the water because
Well,
it's a
no,
public resource.
we're
They're
getting ready
charging
to
you for the pipes.
we're getting ready to the adopt the water cost. I mean that water is no longer becoming a human resource; it's becoming a needed or per use resource. That you can thank the Democrats.
Yeah, well, they're all
I mean,
fucking
the only
bad.
thing they
So,
haven't been able to tax yet is air. And I need to go
oh,
pee
they
again.
tried to with the
Yeah.
carbon tax.
Now never mind. They have tax there. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Do a segue about something else, your stuff, and then I'll come back after I go smoke.
Okay.
Oh God.
Hi, everybody. I am Friar Tuck. I have a channel. This is actually the homeless topic is what I do talk about. I've been chronically homeless for about 25 years. I wouldn't call myself a paranoid motherfucker though. Um, I'm practical, but I also know I've seen enough over the years to know that if you don't this is a pay to play system, and if you can't pay, they don't want you to play. They want you out. It's like a business who says, spend money and get the fuck on. You grab a cup of coffee and you want to take a sip on it, and they're calling the cops on you for loitering, and you ain't even been there for more than like 10 seconds standing there. That's the way the system really is. So when there's no humanity in it. But anyways, before I get off into that, you can check me out, Friar Talk. I'm talking right now about the new executive order. Well, it's not new. It was put out by Trump last year, but there's a lot of movement that's been happening, including with HUD. They're proposing a rule change, something that's completely unprecedented. Now, there's always been a work requirement with HUD, or with any government program. Even when you get food stamps, you have a work requirement. Even I have certain things that I'm required to do as a food stamp recipient. Um, so it's not like this is something new. What's new about it is that they are now increasing the work requirements of up to 40 hours. And so before, it was only the government that was allowed to uh, it was only the government that was allowed to make these requirements. Well, now they're giving the power to private landlords. So if you don't like people that are on it, you can just sit there and say, I require you to do 40 hours a week. And if you can't do it, you lose your voucher. You got to go to the back of the line, start all over again. They can also, the landlords have the ability to put up to a 2-year more time limit on how long you get benefits and stay in HUD housing. And so this can also become a political tool, depending upon which way the corporation or the company leans. So this is something that if you are getting any type of housing voucher, this is something that could dramatically affect you. Right now, it's a proposed rule change, but if it does become a full-on rule, there may be some legal battles about it, but be expected. They're saying under this rule, something like 13.7 million people could lose their home with all these mandates, and the majority of them are families, single mothers with 2 or 3 children, stuff like that. So, but anyways, come check me out if you're interested in this topic. I cover more than just, I don't cover sob stories. We don't do voyeurism.
I was
It's
thinking
just,
about my grandpa, my great grandpa. I mean, he used to go to the um, on base after he retired, and he had this. He liked smoking coal cigarettes,
uh-huh.
and he wouldn't buy them in like local stores. And
Oh yeah, you go on base, man. It's like, oh my God. My dad used to take me in there to buy cigarettes.
the Eloise, you, I have a story for for the back rooms. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. It's a big one. I just put the finishing touches on it, and yeah, it's a wild one. So just wait for it. I don't really want to answer any questions on it right now. But yeah, I wrote one today about the back rooms, and I said I think you guys enjoy it. Yeah. Um, it's a long one. I mean, that's the reason we're not doing it now because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to work on like right now today, and I had wrote this cool ghost story type thing, and that's what I plan to do here in a little bit. But I just with me and Tuck got in this conversation about how to fix homelessness. Now, to be honest with you about this, now I don't think this model works. I want to throw that out there. Okay. I don't think any model will work. I don't think there is any way to fix this.
I do.
That's why I'm asking you. You lay out 4 points to me that will
Okay,
fix homelessness.
okay. Give me a moment to actually speak them then. Um, I didn't mean it the way that came out.
No, you're right.
Um, but anyways, so the first thing is you've got to change the mentality of the overall society to look at it as an opportunity, which allows it to be celebrated. The second thing that you need to do is you need to be able to recognize that there
Like,
are four
you
separate.
talking about celebrating the yeah, I know.
Celebrating homelessness is an opportunity to remake yourself, as a way to pull yourself up by the bootstraps to do what made America great, which is fucking stand on your own 2 feet. Sometimes you fall on your face, but get the fuck up.
No,
You know that's
I don't think no, they're not gonna do that because the American dream was apparently so from 50 on was, get a house, a car, and a bunch of kids, and
yeah.
that was
Well,
not about being homeless. And homelessness type stuff started coming around like after the Great Depression. Great Depression come along. You had traveling hobos, and they were walking through and going to various places, making money, send money back to their families.
I'm not talking about celebrating it like we do the hobos. I'm talking about celebrating it in the fact of you see somebody homeless because the societal attitude is okay. I fell on my face. I'm gonna stand up on my face. Society, just like when I'm on trail, people are more excited to help me out or to do something for me because they see I'm on trail and I'm doing something that they wish they could do, but I'm not doing. But I'm doing it and they're not. So they might give me $5 and say, have a beer on me. They might take me and buy me a tent or whatever. Okay. But the thing is when people see that you're moving in the right direction, they want to help you. That's why you talk to me. It's because you see me constantly trying to move in the right direction. And the thing is when you have to train your homeless to do this. It's based upon if you just let somebody hold a sign that says anything helps and then you give them $1, what it is when you give a mouse a cookie, okay, keeps coming back. If he knows he ain't going to make any money, but then all of a sudden he says, "We'll work," and you offer him work, and he takes it, and he starts making lots of money. Well, guess what? That's what he's going to do to make money. You're training your homeless community, whether you realize it or not. Just like when you have bad habits with your dog, you're giving bad habits to the fucking homeless because what you're doing is enabling bad behavior because you're not using it as an opportunity to shape it. And to shape it isn't to shame them and you worthless human being, go get a job. Quit taking my tax money, you self-righteous shitbag.
All right.
Stuff like that. Sorry.
Breaking news. We got this. In case you're wondering, I mean, I was curious. Um, the U.S. dislaunched airstrikes against Iranian facilities after they fired missiles at the Gulf nations. We are currently actively at war in the Middle East. This is not like it was. This wasn't this random bombings and stuff like that. They have responded to one and another. This just happened.
What are they dropping?
Well, not dropping. The U.S. the Iran fires missiles and the U.S. strikes Iran facilities after report of peace talks. The peace talks have fallen, and we are now back on because the talks were false and erroneous according to Trump. And he says the conversation between us has been going on constantly, including 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, one day ago, and today. Trump said in a social media post, he said, "Where they lead, one never knows." But I told Iran it's time, one way or another, for you to make a deal. Um, they did not. They kept pushing it around and kept pushing it around and kept pushing it around. Trying to get more time, and we it looks like we are actively in a conflict with Iran.
Well, like it's like Wayne's World. Game on, game on,
Well, I mean, I think
game
it's a little different.
on.
I think it's a little different than what they were doing. I mean, this is the thing. This is what it's been what it's been boiling up to. So you had they did the strikes. Israel did the strikes on was it Syria, and they said that that was a failure of the peace talks or whatever. Trump called Netanyahu today and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you? If it wasn't for me, your ass would be in prison." I mean, that's literally what he said today to Netanyahu. I mean, so yeah, the talks, the talks have faltered. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is we are to the point now where we could actually enter, a second from midnight here.
We're there. This is going to erupt. Yeah. Well, but so how did Israel fuck this up?
Well, Israel took now Israel. See, they were talking about peace talks. Now Israel said, okay, well, Syria is not included in this, and
Oh, they tried to play that game.
well, I mean, they'd always said that. It wasn't like one they added to it or whatever, and Iran's trying to include other things other than what it's currently going on. It is. It's not like I said. They want that place gone because they won't stop doing what they're doing. And I mean, there is more sentiment toward it in places. See, one of the big issues that I think happened was in the UK. Now, UK has always been with us, always had our back, everything else, and they were like, no, we're not going to help you with this. And just today, and I can't say some of this stuff online. Because one, I don't want to repeat it, and two, it's some horrible stuff. But the UK cracked down and took down this gang group, and all of them were from those areas, and they were making white women do things they shouldn't do, and it was horrible. And
Yeah.
so I think the sentiment toward them actually involving and going in a war has changed greatly. There's some people looking for payback. So now they're going to go in there, I believe. I think we're going to see a multi-stage, multi-front war, not just a proxy. I mean, it's just going to be one-on-one. Oh, Cuba's coming. Yeah, Trump's going after Cuba here soon. But yeah, I just saw that pop up, and I thought maybe hell we should probably say something about it to anybody that's watching us and not watching the news. But if you was wondering, gas prices are going to go through the roof, and your country's probably going to war. So, and
Yay!
Tuck,
Now we got.
and Tuck,
Now
and
we
Tuck,
got.
and Tuck, expect where you are to get serious lockdown. So.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well, I've kind of been staying away from the White House anyway, so
No,
I've
I
been
mean people
staying.
just acting weird. They always do that in Washington. You'll see it. You go to Washington, and during a war, when a war starts, they get kind of
Well, because they know they're target one. They're the fucking capital.
No, I mean I tell you what though, if someone drops a nuke over there up there, I want you to live stream it so we can put on channel.
Your ass.
You know.
Yeah. No, I'm not that
I
desperate
want
for
that. I
you.
want that. I want a nuke going off to be the last thing that's on my channel. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I won't know it's going off until it's too late. And
No.
big thing.
You'll get hit with a buzzer. You'll get you definitely you'll get anywhere from a 5 to 4 minute window.
Okay, so I can bend over, kiss my ass, and fucking say goodbye to Sam and watch the sunset one last time.
Yeah. I mean, you just won't know what direction it's coming in, but yeah, you'll hear the boom, see the sky change and everything else. I mean, you definitely. But yeah, you'll have a little bit of time. They'll know. I mean, our satellite's pretty good, dude.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I mean, we don't have well, we do in some cases. I don't think we have like precog type stuff yet. Well, not in the sense that we have precog like in I don't know. I think we do have some precog, but anyway, I don't think a system like that is fully in place yet. Let's put it that way. That will detect that kind of thing, and of course, we wouldn't know if that's the case because, well, it's not happened yet. So maybe we do have precog in place, and we just won't be able to do anything about it. And what I mean by precog, I mean a vat full of especially modified humans that see into the future, like in Watchmadigger's book.
You're thinking of oh god, the pre-crime unit.
Yeah, pre-crime, precog. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Minority Report.
Oh, yeah, Minority Report.
With,
You ever thought it was weird that show had what's his name, the actor?
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise, yeah. And all the stuff Tom Cruise is in, like, and what I mean by that, I mean like Scientology.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as his acting, it's right in his wheelhouse. He does spy and fucking like fucking alpha male bullshit. So yeah.
Nah, yeah, but I'm just saying that's a weird thing. But yeah, anyway, guys, like I said, I don't think that this model would work. I don't think that they do have these anti-camping laws and sweeps. I don't know how that's going to help anything. And they're planning on using shelters as a long-term solution. That might go into the whole warehouse thing you're talking about. And they're actually doing these weird little warehouses.
Well, no, the Utah. I'm fairly certain that the Utah model is going to be it. I bet you LA is going to be the first ones to fucking start using it.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't know if it's an earlier sign or something like that, but a lot of us was worried back when they had that military exercise in Texas. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I remember that.
Well, anyway, they're moving all the convoys and stuff down there. They thought everybody was going to go into martial law.
Well, no, they even had city guerrilla warfare going on in parts of San Antonio.
Oh yeah, well, they do that. They do that kind of constantly. I mean, like they train out here. They train in the woods, and they do bomb drops and stuff like. Yeah, Jade Helm, that's it. And they now they do urban runs all the time. That's nothing new. You see helicopters. That's nothing new. There's usually somebody on the ground doing something somewhere. They got training areas. They actually do active urban zones because the next war front will be urban and well, the next real war front that will directly affect America will be urban and underground type stuff, like sewers and things like that. So, I mean, they're already expecting that. That's what they're training for, been working on. And you can go, yeah, I mean, they literally, the DOD literally signed it. I'll say, I don't know any more about this than I should, so please don't come get me. The DOD and DARPA signed contracts with a certain college that's known for a bunch of tunnels under it, and they have it set up in there for them to play war games and things. So it used to be on a lot of people's urban survivor list or urban transport list, but the urban people are beginning to find out that it's not a good idea to go down there. And I don't blame them. I mean, they don't need to mess with it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, just the easy thing about how to fix homelessness is a good idea. So we're on your third one. What's the next one?
The third one would be housing has to be considered a natural resource in our society, which means that it has to be something that takes a small percentage. Housing, food, those are things that we should not be spending. Like,
do you know what happens when we give people houses?
They will destroy them.
That's right, and that costs money.
I know.
And that costs more money, so it can't be considered a resource. It has to be considered. I think housing in itself, a house, an apartment, I think that should be considered a reward for doing good. You go to the basic housing and system and everything else. You go in there, you go through You know, if you have a fentanyl problem or whatever it is, you go through the treatment program, get better, and then go to a. I know it feels like you're going through jail and you're going on probation and shit, but I mean, this is for the betterment of you. But I also believe people should be able to choose where they want to go. Now,
I think that in reality you should own it and be required to upkeep it, and then in some way, like I've always thought that yeah, everybody should be given a house, but also considering it's an asset of the country because it's being given to everyone, you're required to keep it in tip top shape. And so since you're not paying rent, you're putting the money back into the house to make sure it keeps it good, still keeps the economy rolling. It just kills the real estate market, which it'll just cause the economy to reshape itself. Because everybody will have a house, people will have to keep buying stuff to fix it, and they know that if they destroy it, then they have to fix it. I think that there should be a step platform for the homeless to go from one to the other. Like I think that there should be something along those lines because you have to be reacclimated. But I still think that at some point you need to keep if you're gonna force us to live in an urban environment, then we need to be able to have proper housing because as we go to work and we do all these things, we're contributing to the economy.
okay. I mean,
All right.
I think that some hybrid solution or hybrid plan could actually benefit. But I mean, like I said, something like what I said, or something like what you said, or a huge combination of both, um, would greatly help the cities and stuff like that. But the thing is, they have to go to work and they have to go through treatment and rehab and everything else. Um, but yeah, it would
But
help. It would definitely help the cities and stuff. As long as they're not being hit or hurt.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and the last one would be, and this is something like, okay, as a small business myself, I needed people just temporarily. I would call down to the shelters, and sometimes I would get, really, it was hit or miss on some of these people, man, kind of a little weird. But I would always hire out of the homeless shelters because it was easy. I could get somebody, so on and so forth. I think that the Chamber of Commerce and City Hall should be working for like a lot of the day labor and stuff like that these small businesses need. Although it may get rid of the actual day labor places, which are a ripoff because they're charging you $18 an hour, while paying the person $10 an hour, and yeah, it's crazy. So I think if you could, it would actually allow more dollars to flow through the economy to kind of have an economic system that is geared towards people that may not be able to work a lot but can work a little bit, so that they actually still have things that they could do and be contributing to society. Because I think that that's the real problem in homelessness is that a lot of us could work, I could work 25, 30 hours a week, but once I start getting up to that 40 hours a week, it takes too much out of me. I will have, it's harder for me to function, but at 30 hours a week, I could do fine. If I were to be able to do work like that, that'd be fine. And that money goes into the economy because now I'm paying to upkeep my place, make it look nice. It belongs to me. I have ownership.
true. I mean,
You know,
I, I'm, I don't know.
And if you have a bad day, you get sick, you get injured, like my buddy Puckett, he owned a fence business. He injured his back. He had to lay on his back for a year. Well, he couldn't do that, and so he ended up becoming homeless. And over the years, he ended up picking up all kinds of fucking habits because he could never get the time, because when you're homeless, you always have to be on the move. And he could have gotten back and gotten his business back up and running if he'd have had a proper way to be able to rest his back so he could
Hey
get back to
guys, all
work.
right, I need to go out here a minute. It was a gunshot. I gotta go check on something.
Okay. Anyways, guys, yeah, those are, yeah, you got to change the mentality. You've got to be able to show that there are services, and safety for those that are not in the not in the high acuity community. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want to be lumped in with drug addicts and basket cases. So it's really hard for us. So we don't want to come and interact unless we absolutely have to, which is generally like a food line, and maybe a shower line, and that's about it. Every time, once I get those things, I completely exit from the homeless community, and I'm blending in with the rest of the community around me. So, like I said, nobody would know I was homeless unless I wanted them to know. Well, it sounds like everything's still pretty good because nobody's screaming in the background. How are you guys doing tonight? I'm not looking at chat, so I don't get to see anything that's going on if anybody's saying anything. But I hope you guys are doing well tonight. Any of you guys watching, looking at the moon? Can you see the moon tonight? What was it last night? We were talking about the moon being hollow. Do you think that the moon is hollow? Hold on, let me see if I can hop into chat and see what you guys are saying. 'Cause, um, at least on the YouTube side, I'll hop in and see what you guys are doing, see what you guys got to say, because I'm curious. Um, there we go. All right, let's see what we got as far as comments go. Um, what's up, Martin? Roast sounds delicious. Full moon, huh? You think the moon is more than what we can see? What do you think it is?
I don't know. I may have to get up again, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if somebody's out there hunting or it's some other kind of bullshit. But
Huh? Yeah, we got a lot of comments.
oh, yeah. So if I jump up and not say anything, you know what I'm doing. There's this is basically a no hunter zone up here. I mean, we got a good chunk of property up here, so no one can supposed to be up here hunting or doing anything. But there are people over there that do hunt, but they have to use bow and arrow because we're in the city. You can't shoot a gun. You can't shoot. I mean, for good reason. I mean, it's fine to have guns and stuff like that. We have no problem with that. But I mean, you can't be out here, shooting in the middle of the night and trying to take out deer around fucking houses. I mean, that's something that that kind of thing has to be addressed. And if it's not that, then it's somebody else that is up to no good because we are partially in the city or in the city. So we may encounter the random crazy person, and whatever that was a big gun. I mean, that was either a 30-30 or 8 millimeter mag or something.
Speaking of crazy people with guns, part of what brought me back on bike, to come back to see Puckett was, he was telling me a story that one of the crazies that was hearing voices had a flare gun and a rifle, and had one pointed hit directly in his face and the other one pointed in somebody else's face. And the sheriffs had to come out. Like he spent there and had to talk the guy down, because they were about both to get their heads blown off.
You don't need a gun. They got this really cool flare thing. They got two kinds. They got one you put on the bottom of your AR. They kind of look like what you would originally use for like the M16s and stuff they used to give us. But it fires flares, or it can fire something like smoke bomb or I don't want to say stun grenade, but it sure feels like it gets stunned to hit you. But and they got some other things like anyway. I'm not going into the type of weaponry, but there's another one you can get, and it does, like I said, it doesn't require a firearms permit or license or anything like that. Anybody can get it, but it's like a tube, and it's like the old um, versions they used to use back in the day to fire signal flares and stuff. Man, you could hit somebody with that and knock them down. Uh, so you're allowed to use, I think, 40 millimeter. That's a big flare round.
Huh.
I mean, like I said, if someone has like either felony or whatever, some kind of gun issue, that is an effective tool to protect your home with if you ever need to. But plus if someone is around your home and you're living out in the woods or something, and somebody doesn't get up to no good, and you can fire one of them bitches through the wood, and you can light their asses up. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I hate being in the middle of a live show and hear a gunshot. Kind of freaks me out. But anyway, so where were we? You're on 4, right?
Yeah, I basically laid out, like you said, four. These are four things that would make a major change in homelessness.
All right, yeah, okay, you're on 4.
Okay, because like essentially, you've got to take away the stigma. Once you get rid of the stigma, then that means that the van lifers, the nomads, and the working homeless are going to be able to be a little bit more open and seek more services. Once they start seeking more services, then you can help them and know what services to actually offer. The working homeless person might just need a fucking voucher to pay his deposit so he can get into a place. Or he might need like a recommendation to a place. I mean, that's something simple. It gets them housed. A van lifer might need the same thing, but they're on Social Security, so they may need a room with some people and find a landlord that wants to lower the rent a little bit so that the 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 older people, the van lifers can, at least have a place. These are different things that you could do, like just like the nomads. If I were to go in and talk to City Hall, I could, get some day labor, go work for a business. I did that when I was in Eugene, not through a City Hall, but I did it through Craigslist. And it just, those that want it, there's opportunities to be able to go and make your money and then move on to the next town. And if you want to be a nomad, you should be allowed to be a nomad. I mean, I've never turned down work.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I was saying, I mean, actually, it make for a good story. I mean, but you definitely have to feel up to it, and that'd give you some downtime too. But I don't know if I'd want that job. Um, it's not potatoes. It's something they harvest. It's up in Montana, or was it Montana? Yeah, there's something they harvest. They have each year. They have people come in. They offer it to homeless people, and they all come in and they sort the whatever freaking ground fruit that is that comes out of the ground. But like they can only do it like once a year, and I mean they have a massive farm, and I mean you never go out in the farms. The farms are automated, but you go out there, you got to sort this stuff, and deal with it. But you make good money. I mean, hell, I think I'd go. I think I'd go out on try to get ocean jobs and shit like that.
Yeah, there's some labor and stuff like that, but I got a dog. There's some things I can and can't do. I mean, and the thing is like you also have talents and skills. If you've got if you're homeless but yet you've got accounting skills, why put you digging a ditch? Somebody should be using your accounting skills.
Yeah, but they got to like prove it off that they can, and they're stable enough to do it. That's what we did. That's not what we. No, I didn't do it, but that's what a homeless group up here did with a friend of ours that had a serious issue. I mean, he was homeless, kinda, almost homeless. I don't know, but anyway, he's on drugs real bad, and they got him straight. And like he's a whiz with money. He's always been one, and he had. I mean, believe it or not, he was a friggin' college counselor for years and years and years. There was a relationship change, and he went nutty. But he seems to be doing pretty good now, at least from what I've been told. I mean, sure, that's not all true, but you know, I don't know. I know people. I don't think there is a solution for it, really, man. I mean, I'm just being
No,
honest with
because I
you.
mean, if you start working with creative solutions, like one of the things I've been trying to talk to some of these work programs about, you've got some of these people that they're a little bit out of it, but they've got some artistic or they've got some sort of talent that they can use. Well, if they can transfer that talent over into the digital realm, whether it be graphic design or other things, now they can still kind of have their mental health days and maybe work 2 or 3 days a week, but they're at least making enough money doing something that they're really passionate about, and that so on and so forth, and it still allows them to function. They may not
Well, I
make
mean,
a
I
lot of
think
money, but they'll make
I think
some.
you'll start seeing that after bits and pieces of Silicon Valley
It's
collapses.
already
I
it's
mean,
already starting.
you're gonna. I mean, you'll see it more. I mean, you know, not to overcomplicate the AI data center thing again, but there for anyone to think like I was telling Tuck earlier, the general consensus and thought like he was thinking was the AI is moving jobs and stuff out, and they are to some degree, and that they're the AI centers are in a hole, a financial hole. Well, the truth of it now is, and this come out yesterday. I think it is the day before. I think it's yesterday. Hell on, sometimes I get dates and a little messed up. But the one that runs NVIDIA come out and said, and this was in Taiwan, and now Taiwan has literally is 5% over their GDP. Every company involved in making the chips and using the AI is making profit now. OpenAI and Intricate, and whatever you call it, the other one,
Anthropic.
has both filed for to go public. I mean, there's.
I thought Anthropic was in trouble.
Well, they're not now.
Was
That's what
it
I'm saying.
because
That's what I'm
Elon Musk
saying.
bailed him out?
Everything's changed. Something
Well,
changed.
Elon Musk tried to bail him out. Elon Musk was talking
No,
about
I mean Elon Musk is going to be the one that runs it, owns it. But I mean now that Elon has it, or getting ready to have it, or whatever, he's turned it around. Anything Elon touches turns to gold, man. I mean, it's just right away. Elon gets behind it and is like, they're there. People were there. I don't know. Dude's magnetic, man. I want that kind of motion.
Twitter didn't turn out so well. There's
Huh?
still a lot of bots on there.
Hey, it might be a lot of bots, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. You can get on there and you can do. He said what he wanted people to do, and people got on there and they're using it for that purpose. Twitter may not be Twitter like you remember it or like I remember it, but it is what they wanted to turn it into. Sure, there's a lot of bots. There was a shitload of porn. And if you there's key details, it still works the way it's supposed to. And if you clean up everything, work out everything, and integrate everything, Twitter works reasonably well. You go on there and find all kinds of information, but you got to be careful. It's there. It's effective. It's working. But anybody that wants to know this, if China is trying to cover up something, or Russia is trying to cover up something, what you will notice on X is that it starts filling up with porn every single time. And they do that to cram the feeds, cram the data streams, so you can't see what's going on. But once you strip back all that, you see some wild ass shit in there. Just gotta know how to use it, how to work it. But everything else, I mean, everything that man touches turns to gold for some reason. I mean, the SpaceX thing, hell, most of us was betting that it would, go in a hole, but nope, 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 nope. There's already a guy that signed on, one of the billionaires that signed on, and he's going to be one of the first to go to Mars. They're planning a trip now. When they go to Mars, what they're planning on doing. The big rocket that they built, they've been test firing and everything again.
Mm-hmm.
The what do you call it? The Starship. Well, I follow it. I mean, me and Zerk likes to watch them launch, but and of course I like anything with space in it really. But no, they're working toward it. They're going to send one. They're going to send that one to the moon and do like a moon-based thing, and then they have to. I mean, literally, this billionaire gave them money on top of money, and this was part of the agreement that they will go to Mars, and that he will be one of the first to go. And when they go around it, I mean, it's the commercialization of space, and people are already buying tickets, go on little rides. So, yeah. I mean, dude's making buck.
Well, he's sure biting off more than he can chew. I think some of it's gonna backfire.
I mean, maybe. I'll tell you what, though, after he left the other companies, after he left PayPal and eBay, and they've gone down.
They all went south.
Yeah.
eBay bought part of Craigslist.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, they own. They own. I think 25%.
The guy that owns GameStop, he has bought, or not bought. He has made an offer, a huge offer to buy eBay. He said he can turn it around. See, I mean, eBay. There's a possibility that eBay might close.
Really?
Yes. I mean, it might go.
I thought everybody uses eBay.
Oh, you think so? I mean, hell, we just did. My daughter. I'll show it on stream one day. But when my daughter passed away, we have an altar to her in our living room. This is we buy toys and stuff, and we put toys out there, and that's where her urn is, and there's one of the stones from one of the old churches and things that are in there. There's some candlesticks that are from Nazi Germany. A bunch of special stuff that's in there. But I needed something to go along with it. I've been looking for the right lamps, and I was able to find them. And it's coming from a nice man. His mom just died. And
Wait. Hands up.
if you want to, you can see them on stream. Wait a minute. I'm trying to open them up here. Here, okay. I'm going to pop it up. Let me see. Let me go do the stream. I forgot all about this. I didn't plan to show it, but so I'll send you a picture. Well, you ain't got to go to it. But I bought two of these.
Get out of here.
These are
No.
Tiffany lamps.
No.
Hold on a minute, guys. I got to see what's wrong with the kid. But I'll be right back. I'll leave that. Chuck, go ahead and talk to him for a minute, and I'll see what's going on with my kid and go smoke.
Okay. I need to start coming with some topics. I'm usually I wasn't really expecting to talk this much. Let's see. You guys already know who I am. Oh, so any of you guys that like to hike, okay? Actually, no, I'll tell you something else. If any of you guys are looking for a really, really cool vacation spot, a spot where, especially if you're a single dude, this is a perfect place to have a vacation spot.
My son, he's autistic, and He's never smelt one before, I don't think. But a fresh watermelon, my old lady cut up one and she's eating it. And sometimes we can't eat certain foods around him because it messes with him. And well, anyway, the watermelon set him off. So you can't. Yeah, if you heard anything in the background, that's what was going on with that. Like I said, he freaks out when he smells certain things and tastes certain things. And, everything seems to go uh, crazy, like right in the middle of the stream sometimes. But yeah. Tuck, where were you? What was you doing there?
Oh no, go ahead. Oh, I was just filling air.
Okay, well, if you don't mind filling air for me to go in there and do a double check on him and go smoke, then we'll come back and we'll start something in the corner.
Start something in the corner.
Yeah.
I like that.
This will definitely help you sleep tonight. Anybody else? So as soon as we get back, we'll do something in the corner.
Okay. Just as long as we don't end up in the fetal position, we're good. Okay, so if you guys are looking for a really, really cool vacation spot, and you guys are on the East Coast, um, there is along the Appalachian Trail. There's a section. It's called Bear's Den, and there's a hostel. You can get there by car. So if you want to drive up, you can. But it's called Bear's Den Hostel. And this is one of my favorite places, and I wanna see if I can make it back there soon. But for like, I think it was like $45 a night. Okay, now this is a hostel. The bed costs $15, and then the other $30 gets you a large pizza, 2 cans of Coke, and a pint of ice cream. And you just go in the freezer and you get it, and it's an old building, like it's an old cottage. It's very nice. And then like after you've done all that, if you decide you want to go into town and like have there's a the Bear's Den Brewery there. And at the Bear's Den Brewery, man, they clear cut they clear cut the like a ridge line, and you get to see this view of the city, because you're sitting above it. And especially like when I was there was a little bit of fog, and it was a really, really majestic view. And like it's a very high end. I mean, you're gonna spend like $50 if you're gonna go there and like have a couple of beers and have something to eat. But oh my God, the food was good. I actually on my channel I did a review of Bear's Den. I liked it so much, even the brewery that's there. So if you want to go spend a weekend and go fucking stay at the Bear's Den and then go to the brewery and kind of like there's some nature trails around there for you to hike and walk around. You can just go do a day hike in one direction one day and another direction the next day. Also, you can walk into the city and they got like a little, a nice little general store. It's maybe like a mile and a half into the city. Um, and yeah, you get this general store, and it was actually pretty nice. There was a lot of bikers that were there though. So, but that was, if you ever looking to go and have a really cool, vacation for a weekend, I recommend going to Bear's Den Hostel. Now, they don't pay me for any of this. This is just one of my favorite places. Oh, I thought he was coming back. Are you back? Okay. So he's okay, let's see. What else? Oh, um, there was this. Oh, I can't remember. Something. I can't remember the name uh, of the restaurant. Shit.
All right, here we go.
All right, there we go. Good. Save my ass.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, This is we actually went over on our topic. We actually talked about this other thing for almost 2 hours. Um, I am getting ready to go to the some of the meat of our thing. So if you have stayed through the whole thing, you're one of the real OGs. That's for damn sure. And anybody else that's queuing in, yeah, this is where the supposed to be story hour, but this is where it starts. Now, this should affect all of y'all, every single one of us, and you'll get it here in a minute, especially if you're out in the woods. All right, you ever notice something out of the corner of your eye and turn, and then there's nothing there? Not like nothing moved, like something was ever there. Like the air itself is saying, that's not for you. We've all done it. You're washing dishes, you're on the phone, you're in the middle of a completely ordinary Tuesday afternoon like now, and something moves. Just at the edge of things. And you turn, and the room is exactly as you left it. The lamp, the couch, the door, nothing. And you go back to your dishes. And here's what I know. What made you look? Why did you look? Why did you look for something that wasn't there? Because whatever it was real enough to trigger a response. Your nervous system, which has been fine-tuned by 4 million years of evolution, if you believe in that, specifically to detect threats, register something, and you turn. That's not your imagination. That's instinct. That's what we call Spider-Man's Spidey sense. The question isn't whether something was there. The question is, what was it doing to your brain, and how did it catch it, and it was immediately buried. So something, you got to think about it this way. If something made your head turn to go look at something that wasn't there, and something had to have been there in order for it to register with your brain and your body, and that feeling you get. Something was there, you just didn't see it. And something, whatever it was, maybe it was so bad or your brain couldn't understand it, that it removed it from your reality, that it removed it from your vision. Our brain has the ability to do that, in case you don't know. If something is like too horrible, too crazy, too, that you just can't handle it, your brain will just kind of like delete it. Like you'd be like, fuck all this, I don't know, whatever. But I mean, we've all done it. You may have not known it. But now I want to talk about shadow figures.
Oh, I know this one.
Not the horror movie versions. Not the demon with red eyes from the Netflix special. I mean the things that's actual, normal, non-crazy reports seeing in their houses, in their bedrooms, at the foot of their bed, outside, in the hallway, standing in a doorway at 3 a.m, perfectly still, made entirely out of dark. I want to start with a number. In 2022, a researcher named David Holford, he'd been studying what he calls sleep paralysis apparitions for 40 years. Published updates daily, and he published updated survey data. He found that across multiple independent surveys, between 7 to 15% of the general population reports to have seen, while fully awake, moving around, a dark humanoid figure that did not correspond to any person present in that space. What that tells us is that something is there. Something is on the edge of our visual range. And sometimes we see some of it. and it's watching us. 7 to 15%. This is not a fringe statistic. That is tens of millions of people. And what's consistent, what keeps coming up across every report, across every demographic, across cultures that have completely different frameworks from understanding it, is this. The figure is always darker than the dark around it. It doesn't cast a shadow. It is the shadow. It is always approximately human shaped. It has mass and presence. It doesn't float. It stands and it watches. And a person seeing it is absolutely, completely, terrifyingly awake. Now, let me tell you about a woman named Rachel who posted to r/paranormal in March of 2024. Rachel lives in the suburbs outside Columbus, Ohio. She has a husband, 2 kids, a dog. She is, by her own description, not a woo-woo person. She grew up Catholic, but describes herself as lapsed, like not going on her. She works in the hospital administration. Her post gets roughly 4,000 upvotes and over 800 comments. In case you don't know, that's crazy on Reddit. They keep them goldfish preoccupied long enough to look at something.
Really? There's that short attention span there?
Yeah, on there, you're like zoom, 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 zoom. You're going through stuff. Now, here's what she describes, what she saw. She woke up at around 2 a.m. Her husband was asleep beside her. She needed water, as many of us do at night, or a smoke or whatever. She got up, walked into the hallway, and at the far end of the hallway, standing in the doorway of her daughter's room, was a figure. She says she thought for about a half a second that it was her husband. Same rough height, same roughly male silhouette standing there. And then she understands that her husband was in bed beside her, or behind her. She didn't scream. She says that what surprised her the most when she thinks about it, she didn't scream, she didn't run, she stood there. And the figure stood there. And she says, and this is the part that got quoted everywhere in this thread. She says, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't coming toward me. It was watching. Like it was supposed to be there, and I was the one intruding. Like I had walked in on something. She turned on the hallway light. It was gone. Her daughter was asleep. The room was fine. She went back to bed and laid there until morning. 4,000 upvotes. Because 4,000 people read it and thought, yes, exactly what you mean. I know the feeling of being the one intruded on. Now, I'm going to give you the science behind it, because I think the science is actually the creepiest part, to be honest with you. You remember earlier I said I hate science. Anyway. I mean, I used to love it. I did great in school, everything else. But, nah. There is a neurological phenomenon called hypoagenic hallucinations. Now, me personally, I had these things like crazy, and I still do. I can close my eyes. I start to see hallucinations and stuff. Sometimes I write stories about them. But it affects you, and it really does. And sometimes you get it when you're like super, super tired and can't go to sleep, or you got to stay up and you kind of like doze off. But yeah, it happens in the transition between wakefulness and sleep, or sometimes sleep and wakefulness. For true.
This is a night terror.
No. This isn't a night terror. This is something your body does to either shut down or prepare itself for sleep. If you close your eyes, you can see things. Sometimes people see one or two things, or some people see something and fall off to sleep. But other people, it's like watching a movie. like when they say, your life flashes before your eyes when you die. That's what I imagine it is. But it's stuff that doesn't make sense. It's stuff that doesn't add up. You see things you've never seen before. You see videos of things. It's like being connected to the internet and searching through YouTube. But your brain is this pulling all this data, and it's fucking weird. But now the hallucination, it happens when wakeness and sleep, and sleep wake to wakefulness. The brain is partially online, partially down, and in that state, it's something that generates figures, human-shaped figures, often dark, often standing in the corner of doorways. What the science is saying is that we project them there. Think about that. The working theory is that the brain's threat detection system is misfiring. Maybe. It's running a simulation. Is there someone there? A brief, and then the output before rational cortex catches up and says, no, stand down. That's the theory anyway. Here's where it gets interesting. Because Rachel was not falling asleep. She was fully awake.
That's the thing.
Yeah, she had gone up, walked down the hallway, seen the figure, watched it, and then it was gone when the light came on. And the neurologist will say, that can happen. In this state can persist for several minutes. In some individuals after waking, it coexists with functional ambulatory consciousness. Fine. But here's my question. Why does it always look the same? Rachel's figure and the figures reported by a man in Brisbane, Australia in 2023. The figure was seen by a teenager in a dorm in Seoul. The figure is documented by a night shift nurse in Manitoba and reported it to the hospital employees wellness program because she saw it 3 times in the same corridor. Always humanoid, always dark, always watching. If this is our brain generating a random threat simulation hallucination, why does every brain generate the same fucking thing? Why are we all seeing dark people? When my mom, she was no saint. She got on the bottle pretty bad. But when I was a kid, she wasn't that bad. And I remember one time as a child, I got up. My mom was in her room freaking out. She was terrified. She didn't like going in her walk-in closet because when it thundered, she would go in there and hide. I don't know what was going on with her, but something was. But one night she said, Denny, she says, I saw snakes coming out of the toilet. I'm like, what, Mom? And she runs out and she says, there's a man in a black hat standing there at the closet watching me. Well, I thought my mom was going fucking nuts. I did. I thought she was losing it. That she done got on something she wasn't supposed to. But Mom wasn't a drug addict. She wasn't a drug user. She smoked cigarettes. She was afraid of everything else. But then she started drinking after some other stuff happened. But for the most part, I guess she was a sane woman. Pretty sane, I guess. I don't know. But here's what's weird. Later on in life, I remembered that story after she passed away. And I started looking online, just out of curiosity one time. You know how you get that urge, you want to search something or whatever. And I found out about the Hat Man. And these people taking Benadryl and seeing the hallucination of a man in a hat. And there's so many of these reported that it's insane. Our brain wants to generate that image for some reason. Like I said, my mother saw one when I was 7 years old. Now, to begin with, she never told me directly if she had seen it before, but she did tell my aunt. And then, of course, later she told me when she last freaked out. Now, she never told me anything about it after. I don't think she was. she would wake up in the middle of the night. This is part of her story. And there was a figure standing in the corridor between the bathroom and the walk-in closet. My father was absent from the house. But Mom did have her occasional boyfriend or whatever. And normally I'd walk by him and, it wouldn't be a big issue, and I was used to seeing men in my mother's bed, so it wasn't something that, I'm ashamed to see. It just happened, There'd always be somebody there. There'd be somebody on the couch, a different person, That weirdly affects a kid when, they see his mom go through a couple of people. But she
couldn't be alone.
Yeah, she couldn't be alone. She was afraid, I think. But I mean,
My mom was the same way.
But there was times though that she was. It was just me and her, or me and my sister and her. And these things, when she would see these things, would be when she was alone. And I think it got so bad one time she had to have comfort of some kind, because these things would watch her for like a minute and a half. Her words. It didn't move, and then it was gone. Well, my aunt thought it was probably a dream. This is a rational adult response. You can experience or categorize. You decide it was a dream. But here's the thing. She moved their bedroom's furniture 2 days later. Moved it around. She moved the bed so it would face a different direction. She moved the dresser. She rearranged the whole room. And when we asked, she said she just wanted to change. You don't rearrange furniture because of a dream. You rearrange furniture so you don't have to look at the thing watching you. Now, I want to talk about how this sounds, because shadowy figures are one half of this. The other half, the thing that shows up constantly alongside them, the thing that comes first in most every single account, is the sound. Unexplained sound. And I want to be specific here, because this is not about things that go bump in the night. This is about sound that is targeted, sound that seems designed to be just credible enough, like a pin drop or a snap of a finger or something else. In 2023, a couple in Nottingham, England, I'm going to call them the Hendersons, because they asked that their name not be used. And they told their story to a local paranormal research group who documented it, and I was able to access it. The Hendersons began hearing footsteps, not thumping, dramatic footsteps, quiet footsteps. The sound of someone walking slowly through the upstairs hall at approximately 1 to 3 a.m. every single night for a week. They checked everywhere. The house is a detached Victorian terrace. Yeah, beautiful place if you've never seen one. Kind of like the ones along New Orleans down there. They spoke to the neighbors on both sides. Nothing. They even had a structural survey done of the house. No pipes, no loose boards that would creak in that pattern. They set up a basic audio recorder and captured it. The recording is available, and I have listened to it. It is the sound of footsteps. It is the sound of approximately a 140 to 160 pound person walking slowly on a hardwood floor. There is nothing there. The Hendersons no longer live there, but they lived with this for 8 months before they moved. And here's what I find interesting about this case. The sound only occurs at night. It only occurs in the upstairs hallway. It always begins from the same direction, the far end, near the bedroom, that had previously been a child's room that moves toward a staircase. Every single time, same direction, same space, same pace, same approximate height. This is not random structural setting. This is routine. Whatever is making that sound has a routine. Let me talk about infrasonics for a moment. We've spoke about it before, and they claim the data centers are hurting people, making them sick because of infrasound. Well, if that's the case, people might be seeing ghosts. But I don't think that's the case. Sort of. Because this is one of the most compelling scientific frameworks for what people experience in alleged haunted spaces. Infrasound, a sound below 20 hertz, below the threshold of human hearing. You don't hear it, but your body responds to it at certain frequencies. It causes a range of effects: unease, disorientation, sense of a presence. You start to see things. And in some cases, this is documented hallucinations. Vic Tandy, an engineer at Covington University, published a paper in a journal of the Society for Psychological Research in 1998 and described how 19 hertz standing wave in his laboratory was causing the staff to feel a persistent sense of dread and had caused Taney himself to see gray figures in his side vision, like what you would see when you saw shadow. He traced it to a fan. He turned it off. The gray figure went away. And now researchers have since tried to use ultrasound to replicate haunted house experience in controlled conditions with mixed results. Some studies have found a significant increase. Others found almost none. The science is generally unsettling, and I'm wondering how many times people have actually used this to make people scared. But anyway, here's the thing in the Henderson's case. It was a Victorian terrace built around 1887. Those houses had chimneys, enclaves, specific architecture features that can, under the right wind conditions, produce infrasonic resonance. But nobody checked for that. Nobody ever checks for those little things. And if you're a ghost hunter, you need to step it up a little bit. But now I need to get me something to drink. I will be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Oh, sorry. Had to. All right. Now, there is a house in western Pennsylvania. This case was investigated by 3 separate research groups over the past 4 years. A house in western Pennsylvania where visitors constantly report the same sound in the same room. A child's humming. Not crying, not screaming, humming. A specific short phrase repeated. The house was built in 1921. A family of the 5 lived there from 1921 until 1974. One of the children, a girl, age 9, died in that house in 1943 from complications following scarlet fever. The humming was first reported by a neighbor who had permission to use the house while it was on the market. He mentioned it offhandedly. The real estate agent heard it on many visits there as he was, listening to it. I mean, what he was trying to, come up with the house, sell it, and everything, take pictures. Reported it separately without knowing about the neighbor's account. A paranormal research team set up equipment, captured what they described as a faint, rhythmic, tonal sound. The humming. Thank you. The recordings are ambiguous. They could be many things. But you can experience it for yourself if you like. But 3 independent witnesses, without knowing each other, reported the same thing, a child humming. I don't know what that means. I want to be honest with you about this. I don't know what that means. But I know the coincidental explanation becomes harder to sustain each time another person hears it. I want to read you something. After I take another drink.
Hey, I want to interject something.
Sure.
Okay, you know how Edgar Casey calls it the Akashic Records? Billy Meyer calls it the Arahat Author Sada. Essentially, this earth records everything that happens. There's some sort of memory bank that does that.
Like a
And when
record.
this resonance or when certain frequencies happen, we get to see a whisper or hear a whisper of something that is significant that may have happened during that time. Because you're talking, about harmonic resonance. I'm just wondering if this may be like a oh man, they make movies, and like most of your ghost movies, like the tame ones, it's like, they've been there in the same spot, living Groundhog
Something
Day.
that repeats. Yeah, I mean that is one consensus, one theory that when you start actually getting to the the paranormal discussion of it, that people do repeat themselves over and over again after they die, if they like a tragic or a traumatic experience. But there's also the things they say when you die, if it's tragic or whatever, that when your body releases that energy when you die, that you literally imprint it on the glass around you, like mirrors, windowsills. I mean, not windowsills, but windows, lamps, stuff like that. And there was one
What is
research.
traumatic?
Yeah, it's traumatic. There's one researcher that was able to take. This is some wild shit right here. He took a window and he cut it out in a circle, and he was able to put it on this record player thing. They used a laser, and the laser read the grooves in the thing, and you could hear the woman being shot and screaming and everything. It was messed up.
So this was imprinted on the glass in the record?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was imprinted on the glass. He basically took it, and he took a piece of the glass and cut it a circular thing, and he made something that looked like or resembled a record player. He used a laser to read it. I mean, you use a like reading a DVD. Pretty much the same thing. But I mean, if you look at old glass and stuff like that, you notice that there's like little tiny changes there, and like pits and things, and it could be age, it could be something like this. I don't know.
Okay.
Here's your thing. Like I said, I want to read you something before I needed to drink everything. Sorry, I belched. But this is from a Reddit. This is from a Reddit post. Argos, November 2023.
Come on, get up.
The poster goes by the username Nocturnal Archivist. The post is titled, "I think my apartment is replaying something." Now here's what he says. He says, I've been in this apartment for about 11 months. 3 months in, I started hearing what sounds like a full conversation in the living room around 4 a.m. Muffled, like through a wall. But I'm on the top floor. There's no upstairs. 2 voices. I can't make out words for. They talk for about maybe 15 to 25 minutes. And then it stops. I've recorded it 6 times now. You can clearly hear 2 distinctive vocal patterns. One is lower, one is higher. They have rhythm. They have pause. They respond to each other, and it's a conversation. I've had my building's insulation checked. I've talked to every neighbor, nothing. What I have started to notice, and this is what keeps me up now, more than the sound itself, it's that always ends the same way. The lower voice says something, there's a pause, and then nothing. And then the nothing feels like the end of something. Not like they left, like the conversation just stopped being. I looked up the history of this unit. A couple lived here in the late 1980s. The lease records I found end abruptly in 1998. I haven't been able to find out why. Now, 2,400 comments, and the top commenter says move. The second one says, don't look up what happened to the couple. Nocturnal Archivist has never posted again on Reddit. It's a dead account. He was posting a lot of stuff, but then he doesn't. That's, unless something happens to somebody, that's not something that normally happens unless you're actually making a story account. And this guy wasn't. Part 3. Here's the theory I find more interesting than ghosts. It's called the stone tape theory. And while it sounds like science, it's not officially. It's a hypothesis, an untested one, currently, but bear with me. Now, I was just kind of telling you about this. The idea is that certain materials, specific stone, certain kinds of brick and plaster, glass, mirrors, can, under specific conditions, record and replay electromagnetic and psychic imprints of highly charged emotional events. Bad shit happening. The way magnetic tape records audio. The term was popularized in 1972. BBC television play called the stone tapes. Now, the underlying idea goes back to the 19th century, where a researcher named Charles Babbage, Babbage, the one of computing, who proposed that the atmosphere retains vibrational records of every sound ever made. Not that this is not accepted physics. We should be clear about that. But here's why I keep coming back to it. The experiences people report in alleged haunted properties are almost never interactive. Most people will see something and it will move freely and do whatever it's doing. But there's not a lot of times that I actually have a contact with it. The figures don't respond. The sound's always the same. The footsteps always come from the same direction at the same time. The voices always have the same conversation. The humming is always the same phrase. This is not the behavior of intelligence. This is the behavior of a recording. A residual imprint, something left in the walls by people who are gone. Not a ghost in a traditional sense, not a soul, not a consciousness, not anything that knows you're there, just a recording running a loop. And if that's true, if that even partially true, then the question isn't whether you're being haunted. The question is what happened in your house. Now, I want to tell you about one more case. This one is from 2024, and it happened in Savannah, Georgia. I like Georgia. Which I mentioned. You don't like Georgia?
Fuck no, that state's backwards.
Oh, it's backwards, sure. I mean, I agree. We'll talk about Georgia one day.
I've been through Atlanta Greyhound a couple too many times.
I wouldn't characterize it on Atlanta. I think I would go to Savannah and do it from there. And it looks a lot better. Now, but Savannah's a scary ass fucking place, really. Once you pull back the layer a little bit, it's a scary place.
Yeah, I know. My hobo friends wanted me to go with them, and I needed to go down to Orlando.
Yeah. I mean, I'd stay in Savannah, though, honestly. I mean, I think you will like it to some degree, but other parts of this, I don't know. You know, and I don't know. You probably get a house down there pretty cheap. In some part. Outer skirts, not inner skirts. All right, anyway, which I mentioned because Savannah is one of the most historically documented cities in America. And because this case involves a property that is now, as of this year, the subject of formal academic study out of Georgia Southern University. The property is a townhouse built in 1847 and was continuously occupied until 2019 when the last tenant moved out. And it has sat vacant since. The owners declined to sell it or rent it. When the journalist asked why, one of the owners, an elderly woman, the great-granddaughter of one of the original inhabitants, simply said, "The house doesn't want anyone there." Here's what the research team found. The house has a anomalous electromagnetic field, in the parlor room on the second floor. Not a dramatic one, just statistically significant. The kind of variation that would make a Gauss meter trickle up if you knew what to look for. The survey found that the walls of the parlor contained an unusually high concentration of magnetite, a naturally occurring iron oxide that is, among other things, a magnetic metal. Now, magnetite can retain magnetic impressions. Every person on the research team who spent more than 20 minutes in the parlor reported independently feeling as if they were being watched from the left side of the room. Not the right, not behind them, specifically from the left side of the room. The left side of the room contains a window seat. The records of the house indicated that in 1862, a woman named Hartwell sat at that window for 3 months waiting on her husband to return from the front. He did not return. He sat there every day for 3 months looking out. I don't know what to do with that. I know that magnetite retains magnetic impressions. I know that the human body generates electromagnetic fields. I know that extreme emotional states amplify that field. I know that 3 months of grief sitting in the same spot, looking out the same window, waiting for someone who has never come back. I know that this is an extreme emotional state. I've been there. But I don't know what to do with that. There are things on the edge or at the edge that we can measure. We have built instruments sensitive enough to detect gravitational waves from 2 black holes colliding 1 billion years away. We have mapped the human genome. We have photographed the surface of Pluto. We are not a species that lacks the tools for investigation. And yet here we are in 2024 with tens of millions of people independently reporting the same experience, the figure in the dark, the sound with no source, the feeling of being watched from the left side of the room, and the official answer is still sleep paralysis, infrasound, overreactive pattern recognition. Maybe. But here's what keeps me thinking. If 4 million years of evolution turned your nervous system to, or trained your nervous system to detect threats, if that system is the reason your ancestors survived long enough to produce you, then maybe you should trust it a little more than going off on an empty hallway at 3 in the morning. Maybe I was probably just tired. It's not an actual correct conclusion. Maybe something is there, or was there, or is. And maybe this is the part that actually keeps me up sometimes, thinking about this. Maybe the reason is not interacting with you because it can't see you. Maybe because it already knows you're there and it's waiting for something. Maybe you. And that is the end of our show.
Oh, like, I don't know. I got a question for you then.
Sure.
Okay, so this is, when I was a kid, I used to have this recurring dream of a bear hunting me, and my mom used to tell me that, like, she told me when I was older that, yeah, her and my stepdad used to listen to me scream all night long for like a week or 2 weeks straight. Um, but when I got married and had a kid and was working and stuff like that, I started having people kept telling me that they were night terrors. Basically, I would be asleep on the couch. It would be dark outside, and it would almost be like I was asleep, but my eyes opened, and I could see like a beast with beady red eyes that was waiting outside the window. It was like, and I was so paralyzed, like I was screaming like I did like when I was a kid. Like I couldn't move or anything else like that. It was like a faint scream. And I did that for probably a good couple of months. Is that what night terrors are?
No. No. I mean, that's a type of terror. That's a type of waking nightmare, or sleeping nightmare. No, night terrors. You ever lay there sometime and can't move?
Yeah.
All right. You ever feel like something's on your chest?
Um, I don't know if something's on my chest, but I know I'm having trouble breathing.
That's something on your chest. Something sits on your chest, you're going to have trouble breathing. Most people will report the same symptom. Most people have that feel and that fear. They feel they're there, they can't move, they feel like something's on their chest, and they don't know what's going on. Now, medicine tells us that it's our body being paralyzed by a chemical that our brain produces. Science wants to tell us the same thing. But here's what they don't tell you, is that if millions and millions and millions and millions of people are seeing black figures at night or not paying attention to them, whatever, and if these things can watch you and they can see you and they know you're there and they have something, they're always a little darker than the shadow they cast. So that means they have mass. So that means something might be sitting on top of you at night, staring at you, looking at you, having its shadow hands into your brain. Maybe it's the one making you dream. Maybe it's the one making you think things. Maybe it's the thing that actually controls us every day. Maybe that explains everything. Without these things, we're still monkeys. And we have evolved in such a way where a parasitic shadow creature has to and must sit on our chest at night, stick its long shadow fingers in our head, and feed. What if that's really the alien?
Mm. Oh, you think it could have also been stress induced?
Anything's possible.
Anything. Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility, but no, this thing was actually hanging outside of my apartment window, staring in the window at me, and I was looking at it. And I was just walking away from Christianity at the time, but I was praying to Jesus that night.
You ever notice something? I think we'll end the show on this one thing. You know, have you ever noticed that when people get at their worst, prison, shit going down, scared out of their minds or something? I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying part or more than part of the population that's not religious suddenly becomes religious. It's like this man told me. He says, "Well, what? Uh, there are no atheists on a plane that's about to crash."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I mean, that made more sense than anything to me, honestly. I mean, at that time, you could basically say I was an atheist. I don't know what I am. I mean, I don't know what I believe. To be honest with you, I know it is a factor of generational religious torment and ideas and stuff. But I've developed my own conclusions about the universe. And, maybe I'll go into them one day because it's not like mainstream. It's not like how I see what religion in itself is, and
That's a conversation I'd love to have with
yeah,
you.
I mean, it is a long and long and stealthy one. I mean, it's one that I had been working on mentally since I was fucking 12. I mean, yeah.
See,
Um,
I didn't get smart till I was 30.
well, no, this is you just something bad happens and you sit there and you think, okay, well, what's this? And then you go down your stages of growth and becoming an adult and whatever variations you go through, and normally if you're in a full, like in the South anyway, if you go through a religious family, and once you get to the point and you start rebelling against that family, then a lot of people get into the occult and things like that, and they go a first nosedive into it and start studying the occult and things of the occult, and really look into it, really go past one point than they should. And I've been in everything. I have. I mean, everything hardcore and everything. And I met a lot of crazy people. Met a lot of cool people. And I've met a lot of confused people. When I was married, I was even a preacher. I was a Baptist
You a
preacher.
preacher?
Yes, sir. I was a Baptist preacher.
I could see that.
Um, I preached in a little wooden church that had sawmill lumber on it. You could see through it at times, but we always had it full. We always had that place full. But I stopped being a preacher because I could see people were lying to me, and I have this weird issue. I tend to see people for what they are. I start to develop a picture of them. Sometimes I don't like to admit the picture, but I see them for what they are. I see the bad stuff in them. Now, see, that doesn't turn me against somebody. Every person I've seen some kind of bad thing. I mean, that's not something that turns me away from somebody, but the behaviors and how they interact with them, and you can tell that someone is going to especially within your family, you get that sixth sense, and you think, okay, this is not a good thing. But oh, I'm rambling on. Guys, tomorrow, not sure what we'll do. We'll do something. Um, I'm kind of letting I'm kind of taking the holistic approach when it comes to stories. I got a bunch, and I'm writing more every day, and I kind of have a conversation with Tuck, or I have a conversation with somebody else, and I see where that day is going to go, and then I kind of work off those stories. So we don't know. But anyway,
you know what though? It seems to be working.
yeah.
Like I saw 8 people in the chat. That was like when I last looked like maybe a week ago, there was like 3 people in chat.
We've had 7 concurrent viewers. We have a chat rate of 1, and we've had over 113 views back and forth. And for a 3-hour stream, view duration is normal. So I mean, it's good. It's growing.
Yeah.
There'll be more and more people. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not concerned about that. There's people will catch up. That's the ones that catch up. We're at a weird time. But maybe more and more people's coming down and listen to them. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Stay paranoid, my friends.